Hi Virgo, here is a general look at your solar chart for October 2015, and yes, things are changing for you, Virgo, because now you have Jupiter in your sign, but also this month you're going to be getting Venus and Mars in your sign, so those three lined up in your sign is going to make for a very dynamic time, but also a highly sociable time as well, I would guess. And hopefully that's an educated guess. So, but first of all, I'm going to mention the new moon, because this month the new moon is in Libra, which is the sign after yours, and it is going to be in a very strong aspect with Uranus, and that new moon is happening on the 13th of October. So it's worth a little kind of review of where Uranus is in your chart and what Uranus has been doing. This transpersonal planet, which has been in an area of your chart to do with pretty deep stuff, actually, since 2011, and will be there until 2019. And so over the long term, there's likely to be sudden changes through important close relationships. This area is about inheritance, it's about legacies, but these relationships can be affecting your income, your property, your possessions, in other ways as well. And as is the nature of Uranus, it can come in quite a sudden sort of a way, what was not planned. Also, another way this can be happening is that you get these amazing insights through connecting with others in a group or making new friends. But these are not likely to be, they're like fleeting, but they can be fleeting over a number of years, but they're not like really, many of them, these associations, really long term. But they can be intense. They can be really intense interactions that you have in a group context with friends or associates, or indeed with somebody that you meet that you feel that a real soul connection with also. But again, there's something about it which is more like a flash of lightning rather than anything which will settle down into the long term. Having said that, it always depends on what's going on in your natal chart, because what I've just said might be completely untrue. It depends on what's going on in your natal chart as well, but this is the general look, okay? So generally it can be like that. However, that very high-octane energy, which leads to an intense interaction with someone, or a series of interactions, or indeed a relationship which is not codependent but interdependent, can leave, that impression for the rest of your life. So this is a very deep area. This is an intense area where Uranus is, and you're learning to be more materially self-reliant, but also emotionally self-reliant, understanding that these interactions, these interrelated events, are there to awaken you to a new appreciation of yourself, but also of everything else. Because the deeper you know yourself, the wider your understanding of yourself, then the deeper and the wider is your understanding of all others. And this can also be about historical expectations, your own perspective and how it's now maybe changing, maybe on a gut level, in an emotional way, and also it can be to do with you're being aware of more subtle, invisible, shall we say, energies and beings even at work, which before now you weren't aware of them, or you were not as aware of them. And so you're learning here, and when you least expect it, because Uranus is here, things could take off in a completely different direction, materially and emotionally, in your life. So watch that space, because Uranus is also the planet of reversals of fortune. So if you've already had that reversal, taking you into an area which has been quite harsh, then you're likely to get a reversal which sort of completely changes the picture. Now, I'm mentioning that because that is the long-term transit of Uranus, and this new moon is aspecting that, and it means that there could be a sudden opportunity or shift, time for you to take the initiative to improve things materially, physically, making the most of assets, making the most of what you have, what you know, what is inside of you, what is outside of you as well. So resources around you. So from your talents within, but also resources around you, or not what you know, but who you know, the contacts you have, whatever it's about for you, capitalizing on what you have there in a material sense, in a physical way, and it could turn into a time when you get organized so that you can get a material reward in some way or another, and that will be you taking the initiative, turning over a new leaf, getting to the next stage of whatever the thing is or the things are that might be related to this area, materially, physically, basic stuff. It's about property as well. It's about venues. It's about equipment. It's about stuff. So that you can outwardly express more of what this long-term transit has been teaching you, and also how it's been treating you, I guess, over these many years. Now, of course, the sun is in the same area as the moon, which is in Libra. And that means that your finances, your goods, property, your physical well-being are all key themes, and that's where more of your attention might be, around possessions, around stuff, fixing it, storing it, ditching it, acquiring more, whatever it is, protecting it, maintaining it. Also, Mercury is in the same area there. Conversations revolving around what's the best way to get this thing organized, to put this thing together so that I can get the reward from it, so that I can capitalize on, I can maximize the potential. I can just get the most out of it, And plans may focus around certain desirable resources or practical ways of achieving this or that or another result. And what is of most value to you, and even how you can make more of your own natural abilities. And also putting your head together with people who are in retail. I mean, a bit of retail therapy even going on. People who have got their business heads screwed on. Maybe you're having conversations like that as well. Now, Venus finishes her long transit of the sign before yours in a very quiet background area on the 9th. So Venus has been in there since June the 6th. That's a really exceptionally long transit. And then that means that you may not have been in the mood or have the opportunity or be in the situation to let go of being the support for others. And just to be completely selfishly self-indulgent, which is more likely to happen when Venus comes into your sign, although it always depends on you and your life and as expressed by your natal chart and beyond your natal chart, of course. So you'll tend to keep your feelings to yourself with Venus here. You could be uncertain where you stand with certain people or where they stand with you even. You could be mulling things over. You could just be letting it process, letting it deeply kind of digest through you. Others can be oblivious of how much support you're giving. Maybe you're sending energies from a distance. You could be doing things like that. Or having to be quiet about what you're doing in certain social groups who just wouldn't understand. Maybe you're using subtler energies there to boost and to help and to comfort and to heal, and it's not so you're being quite selfless really in a lot of ways during this time. But also it might not be like that at all. It might be that you are tapping more into your artistic side. Maybe you are connecting more with your imagination. Maybe you're connecting more with those invisible beings beyond. Maybe you're harking back to the past more. Maybe you're more aware, getting more aware of where you're coming from and how you're likely to have a reaction when a button is pressed, and just being a little bit more savvy about how you do that. Maybe you are getting into therapies for yourself and taking care of yourself more, and there's been a lot going on in the background really, or within you during this time here. And another way this can work is that you're very much within a closed circle of others doing good stuff together. And working for the common good, that kind of thing. So it would be a good idea for you to immerse yourself in whatever pursuits feed your soul during this transit. Now, it's finishing on the 9th, and then that Venus comes into your sign, and that's going to be quite a lineup, quite a star-studded lineup, because you're going to have Venus and Mars and Jupiter all in your sign. Yes, so there's a huge emphasis on me, really, and what you want, and your relationships, and meeting the world with more ease, feeling more outgoing, wanting to be, have a bit of a makeover, thinking about your appearance, some of you tying the knot even. Some of you you're more likely to get treats. You're more likely that things are in the pipeline that come along that really please you. Now, Mars is also in your sign, so you'll be hustling and bustling, or things will be hustling and bustling around you. You need to be decisive and take action on certain things. If you've let certain things lie, you say, okay, now I've got to get going with this. I've got to get the ball rolling. Or maybe if you're not in the mood because of what's been going on before, you're just not able, then just things will start speeding up around you, and there will be more demand coming in your direction. So then you'll just have to keep up with things, I suppose. And Mars likes to initiate things. Mars likes to be assertive and even sometimes quite aggressive. So this energy is swirling around you, hopefully coming through you in a disciplined sort of a way which you've harnessed. However, it can be coming at you as well, and whether you choose it or not. So then you have to look for a compromise, maybe a win-win solution, that kind of thing, and use your people skills. But this is time likely things will really pick up speed and be more dynamic, and you get plunged into situations which demand a decision, demand assertiveness, demand leadership. Just get you working harder. That's more likely. Remember, it's not going to be wall to wall 24/7. It's going to be because there's sort of the waves of as the planets travel through, as they connect and make a click with your natal planet degrees. Okay, but that's the sort of general gist of it. And the advice is to be smart, customize things to suit you better, and pace yourself so that you will have the reserves you need to tackle life, to tackle what's coming at you. Balance your efforts with enough rest and recuperation. So overall, this is your opportunity to get with whatever program to make the progress that you want to make for yourself personally, Virgo. And and you can feel quite pleased with what you've achieved or what you are achieving, but do not overstretch your energies, because it's really easy to do with Mars and Jupiter in that area there. But there's a lot of potential there going to be for you personally, a lot of potential over this many months to come. Jupiter's going to be in your sign till next September. Just to mention the sun is moving on the 24th into a very sociable, busy, chatty area, coming out of that area of the material side of life. So taking some of the emphasis away from there, and you more connecting with others, meeting, greeting, mixing, mingling, a time when your mind may be very, very busy and you could be flitting around more. Now, Saturn has come back into Sagittarius last month and will be until late 2017 in at the root of your chart. And that might mean that you've got to take more responsibility for things that went on in the past, or dust swept under the carpet, or unfinished business to do with the past. You've got to say, okay, look, I need to square up to this now. If it's like that, or it might not be. It might be that somebody in your family is needing you, is putting... it means that you have to take that responsibility and pick up the gauntlet there. You have to make the decisions to change whatever it is you're going to change, so that you can meet those obligations, meet those commitments. It might be like that. It might not be like that either. It might be to do with property. It might be to do with location. It might be to do with what's going on around in your neighborhood. Your domestic setup, or something to do with your parents as well. In any of these areas, there might be a little bit of a few over this just more than 2 years. You will need to work harder, and you will need to work harder at getting along with others. You will have to put up with more sometimes. You'll have to tolerate more sometimes. You've got to, thinking about how the past is impacting on the present. So decisions made in the past, and looking back maybe 14 years or indeed 28, 29 years, and seeing what was going on then and getting a gist of what might be going on now. You Virgos born the 23rd to the 28th of August, all with from 0 to 5 degrees rising, going to feel that energy the most this month. Jupiter, as I mentioned before, is now in your sign, and this happens once every 12 years. And this means it's time for a real growth spurt in your life, and things could be taking off in several new directions, and you got to learn to cherry pick which are the directions suit you most at this stage in your life. And you will be, and every now and again there will be sort of a little kind of explosive flowering of things as it reaches certain degrees, which chime with degrees in your natal chart. And you've got to go in the direction of what feels right for you, but you've got to get there before you can see any further, right? And then you get maybe a wider range of options opening up to you from that point on. So even though you might be undecided or not quite know which way to jump, it will mean that there are opportunities there, there's potential there being offered to you anyway. More travel, foreign cultures, or higher education, that could be all much more part. You could be traveling more over the next 6 months. You could be getting to know another culture, another language more, or it could be higher education for some of you. It could be really getting into a field of knowledge, a subject, or it could be that you are putting something out. You are the teacher. You are putting something out onto the wider stage, and you're sharing your experience and your knowledge with others through the written or the spoken word, or in another sort of a way. You Virgo, early Virgos or Virgo rising, or those born the 3rd to the 10th of September with 11 to 17 degrees rising, are going to feel that energy the most. And then Neptune, as always, I'll mention, you could be getting people wrong. You could be getting ideas about others wrong, either because you are putting them on a pedestal, or indeed you are getting the wrong idea about them. That's the thing about Neptune, where Neptune is. So that's just a little warning there. On the other hand, it might mean that you have amazingly meaningful connection with certain others. Whether that is grounded in something solid is another matter. But however, you might feel this, and it helps you to integrate maybe more levels of yourself as this one plays itself out. And you can be seen as the helper, the supporter, the facilitator to another more. And so they're careful you don't get a distorted view, though. That's the only thing. You Virgos born the 29th of August to the 2nd of September, or with 6 to 9 degrees rising, going to feel the energy at the most. And may I just apologize if you have sent me an email and you haven't had an answer, because we've just discovered a broken link on the website. I'm really sorry. This is August, by the way, so hopefully it'll be fixed by the time you hear this. And this is all written up on my website anyway, DianaGarland.com. This text that I've just been reading to you here. Well, I've been actually giving you a bit more than that. And anyway, I'll see you the next